Well, we're going to get towards the end of this here, but since we're getting towards the end of this, obviously you guys are in other bands, and let's get some updates on what's going on. So, Mark, obviously Warlord has some shows, and you put that album out quite a while ago, and talk about some of the upcoming shows that you have, and that reception to the new Warlord album, I think, has been excellent, to be honest, and maybe talk a little bit about what's going on with that band.
Well, that was just basically trying to wrap up Bill's legacy and have the one last kind of hurrah, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that he and I worked on that just kind of sat there because he was very ill and he wasn't in a position to take it to the final finish kind of thing. So we just kind of wrap it up. And, he had told me via email and text and phone calls and stuff that I should carry on with it and push on with it. The same with the live playing. He said, hey, man, just go get a guitar player and just go play. It's not that difficult. We have some shows. I guess it's the end of June into the beginning of July. It all centers basically around getting the offer to open up for Priest on July 2nd. And the only way that really came about is we played this last Italian festival on this last run a couple months ago, and the promoter really liked us, and he recommended us for that gig in Italy. So it's like, okay, now we got a one-off. We get to bang out 8 songs opening up for Judas Priest. That's great, but got to put some dates around it. It's kind of tough to do a one-off when you got 3 guys coming from the United States.
Yeah.
So there's just some dates around that. I think they start rehearsals like a 26th or something, and then like 28th through the 6th or something like that, with traveling around kind of thing. Italy, Belgium, Germany, and Holland kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's it. Go out and play 17 of the classics. It's fun. I like it. I got the highlight. I don't want to say the highlight of my Warlord career, but the highlight was taking my daughter to Japan a few months ago.
That's cool.
It was the gigs. The gigs were gigs. I played better, but to take her, the combination that she loves Japan and she's never really seen me play. Even though I'm not sure if those gigs, put it this way, I'm dying to drag her to the Priest gig to show her, like, yeah, I do this all the time. It's no big deal. But no, she.
Where is that gig, the July 2nd gig, Mark?
It's in Milan somewhere, some open air. It's not a festival. It's them and I think it's Filthy Animal Taylor or Phil Campbell, one of those Motorhead guys.
The one that's not dead. I think that's Phil Campbell is still around.
Okay. I don't really keep up on the death rate. I know Lemmy's not going to be there. I know that.
No.
But yeah, it's just, a quick bang out 8 songs, play the Deliver Us album and one other song. And you know how those gigs are, man. It's like you're off before you even knew you went on.
Yep.
That's, lucky if I break a sweat. But yeah. And then we're talking about possibly writing another record. But I just think it's important if Warlord's going to move on, it needs to move on kind of like Riot. You can't, and I know it's a bad saying, but you really can't have that one foot in the grave and trying to, maneuver. If you're going to make a move, you make a move. This is the band. This is what we're writing. It'd be in the style of Warlord. And, if there's someone wants to, we've had different offers or whatever, and, maybe we'll go through with that, and people want to buy it, great. If not, then they won't buy it, and that'll be that. But, at this point in the game, there's no reason to give it a shot,
Yeah. Nick, I Am the Storm by Redemption, probably, in my opinion, your best album. What are you guys up to? You guys recording anything, writing any songs, or what's going on with the band?
Well, writing has begun. One song's basically written other than vocals, and I've got the start of a bunch of other stuff. We've been very busy. Evergray's been very busy. Vikram is in multiple bands now. He was in Pain of Salvation for a long time, and he just joined, I want to say, Within Temptation, although that could be wrong, but, a big band that's going to be touring a lot. And he and Tom together write, scores for video games, which is a huge creative undertaking. So they're busy. Chris has got another band. Sean's busy with his stuff, and we also don't live around the corner from each other, so it's not like we get together and jam it out on a Saturday. But
right.
And we need a new record deal. So other than that, we're ready to go. But and you don't want to rush this stuff. But I'm sort of getting an itch, and I know sooner or later we'll pick things back up.
Yeah, I forgot AFM got bought out. I forgot about that. Yeah, they pretty much dropped everybody.
Yep.
It's like a legacy. It's like a legacy artist type thing now. Back catalog. I forgot about that because I know a few bands on that label were like, I was like, when's your album coming out? And then all of a sudden, I don't know what it was. I found out they ended up getting bought out, and a lot of them told me the whole detail what happened. So, but I think
I worry that that AI music is going to really kind of take over. If you're a record label and you can take an existing artist and press a button and create a new record in 8 minutes and at no cost,
yeah,
audiences don't know the difference. I mean, I think there's a little bit of human creativity that still goes into the style of music we play, but not to take anything away from them because they're obviously hugely successful. If you're Taylor Swift or you're Drake, you can literally have an AI agent create a new record for you that sounds just like you in a minute. And
I had an entire podcast discussion about this.
am I crazy, or are other people worried about the same thing?
So yeah, I mean, I'll put a link in the show notes to it. So I had a big discussion. I like to on occasion have discussions about it, and I've actually had one about AI in music and just creative stuff in general. I had a friend of mine named Justin, who he's a graphic designer, guitar player, plays in a band. Christian Wentz, I'm sure you know him.
Christian's a buddy.
So he actually, he talked about how the whole AI process works, and we had a huge discussion about it, about how the things. Now, me personally, with how AI works, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of, Justin and I are basically learning from Christian how it works and just asking questions. It's kind of how the whole discussion went, but it's an interesting discussion. There were a lot of different points of view presented in it, and I can definitely send you guys the link to it. But, we talked about, how we use it in real life, like right now. We talk about it. We talk about how it'll, affect the music industry or entertainment. We talk about the dangers of it. I mean, we touched on a pretty good sizable amount of stuff. I'll have to send you guys the link to it. But it was definitely a fun discussion. We discussed exactly what you were talking about. Like, let's say, for example, a label wants to say, hey, let's make a new Queen record, even though Freddie Mercury's dead. I mean, boom, you can probably train it to do that. And I was talking to Christian the other day, and we were talking about how it was an interesting philosophy. He was talking about how because he works in like cybersecurity and he deals with this, that AI within probably a year will have pretty much have all the knowledge human beings have acquired since our existence, like within that year period. And it was a pretty crazy thing. We were talking on the phone about it actually, and we revisit it every year. And I'll invite you too if you want to come on for that discussion whenever we have another one.
That'd be great.
You're welcome to do so because it's cool. I mean, I did an AI action figure of Zonder. Actually, I know.
Very cute, very funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I chat GPT. I just gave a description, put a photo of him in there with his drum kit, and it made this realistic action figure of Zonder in an action figure box.
Let me ask you a quick question though, and I'm not overly dialed into the whole, AI when it comes to that. But when you talk about the Queen record, but they can't call it Queen, can they?
If you do it with the permission of the people that own the trademark.
Yeah.
But there's the line though,
Yeah.
But then again, X amount of dollars, have at it, that kind of thing. But
all this stuff, it's a good tool and it's a terrible master. And I don't want to be overly alarmist because frankly, anytime there's a technological breakthrough, whether it's MIDI or digital recording or drum machines or synthesizers, if you let it get in the way of writing a great song, it's going to end up poorly. But if you harness it, you can do a lot of great things that advance songwriting craft and make recording simpler and get you through the bumpy parts so you can focus on crafting the best music.
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely.
Yeah. And Nick, you brought up in the last discussion that we had, we were talking about the Olympics, and you brought up how they were going to use the Al Michaels voice.
Yep.
You couldn't do the spur of the moment thing. Like you brought up the
you're not going to get, you do believe in miracles. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So you brought up a very good point. But yeah, I'll send you that discussion. And you know, the thing is, if you ever want to participate in that discussion with us, that would be great.
That'd be great. It'd be fun.
I know you worked with the movie industry. That would be interesting how it affects that.
Yep.
And you know, Christian, I mean, again, he works with it. He's a cybersecurity dude. He's working with this stuff like nonstop. And every once in a while, I get this message, man, we got to have this discussion again, you know? So, but you're definitely invited for it if you want to be part of it.
Great. Awesome. Love to.
So gentlemen, it was great to have you on. I am really excited for this album to come out, actually, to get a physical copy and play it on my sound system. So, but again, it was really fun to have you guys on. I think this album is incredible. I think that if people liked the first one, which it looked like it was well received, I think that they're going to like this one a lot better. And, you know, maybe some final thoughts from you guys when it comes to this album coming out in June.
Nick?
I mean, I just think, thank you for having us. It's always great to talk with you. I'm really proud of this. And as I said, I've been waiting for 20 years to work on something with Mark, and hopefully this won't be the last thing we do, because I think we've got something pretty special here, and we all had such a great time. Mm-hmm. And it was so easy. So I hope people dig it as much as you do and as much as we do, and hope we have an opportunity to keep building on it.
Yeah.
No, I just obviously wanted to thank you, Tony, but I also wanted to thank Nick for giving, you know, A through Z 2 life, because it was Nick who gave it life. Without Nick, you know, I'd still be running around playing with 19 other people trying to figure out how to write songs. But no, also too, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but we're definitely working on it. I think the guys in this band, you know, playing live, will just be, you know, 75% of the success of this band, in respect of it'll just take it to the next level. It's not easy to do between the guys' schedules and the actual, you know, availability of stuff. But, you know, if you give it 110% and you do the best you can, we'll see what comes out of it. And, you know, I'm sure everybody here is dying to go out and play these songs, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, again, I think that this record is very good. I got to ask you, though, to end it off, is there a third one planned?
I've got some ideas.
I got an album cover or two floating around in my head. And no, it has nothing to do with teeth.
Gotcha.
No, again, you know, unfortunately, this isn't the 80s where we all live in the same house kind of thing. And
right.
We're getting money from the label and surviving. So everybody has lives and different commitments and so on and so forth. But no, Nick and I have talked about it, you know. There's no reason not to. Let's just put it that way. But no, like he said, he has the ideas, and I know everybody is game for it. I think what's going to really, there's something that we haven't really talked. We'll wrap this up real quick. The record's not even out. I think when the record comes out, and you know the theory, you know, kind of winning solves all problems. Yeah. It's like when that thing hits and it makes its mark, I think there's going to be other opportunities for us. Yeah. I think we just won't be this band with a single, you know, and a cute album cover. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think we haven't even put the product out to be able to field offers and deal with things. So I think that's something, not that we're overlooking, but that's going to really make a big difference.
Well, I think things are going to look up for you, probably more than you think. That's just my guess.
From your lips to God's ears.
All right. Well, gentlemen, it was great having you on the show.
Always awesome, Tony.
Much appreciated yet again.
Our pleasure, man. We'll talk soon.
Thanks so much. Be well.
Hey everybody, Tony here from the Metal Command podcast. Again, I appreciate your support. Since 1998, I have hosted this show in one form or another, starting off in radio and now in the podcast format. Again, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see and hear on this show, by all means, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video, and if you see this program on any other form of social media, please give me a follow there. Again, I always appreciate your support.